Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I thought I would have a craft along with me. Now I've made this little journal. It's sort of like a little journal, and it's also got an attached envelope to the back. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to call it, but I've wrapped a lovely little bit of coffee stained lace on it. Now this is what I was dyeing in the garden the other day. So what I've got, I've used my papers. I'll pop the link to the papers underneath the video, and I've made a little journal here like that. So it's got a few pages, I think it's got 10 or so pages in it, and then as you turn it round, I've attached an envelope which you open up like that, and it's got a little pull down here like that to journal on, and then I've got two pockets, and in the pockets I've got the little journaling cards here which come with the kit as well. So I thought it was really pretty, so you can do lots of journaling on here. So you've got that, and you've got one of the little word tags there, with some little embroidery flowers on there. So I thought this was really pretty, and it's got room for these lovely tags. We've got 8 tags in this kit, so they fit perfectly in here. So we pop them all into the little pocket, so you can journal on those, journal on here, and then what you do is just fold it up together, and then you can journal, oopsie daisy, journal in the little book like that. So not quite sure what to call it, but it's really pretty, and I thought it was something a little bit different. So then we just tie it together with a lovely piece of lace. So I'm going to show you how I made this. Whether we're going to do it in one video or two, I'm not sure. It depends how much battery I've got in my camera at the moment. So I thought it was really pretty, and I've just added the little word tags as well, and a little bow on there. So I thought that was really pretty. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off with the envelope. Now these as well are the envelopes that I had in the garden that was coffee staining. So we start off with that, and I'm going to use the butterfly collection papers. So I've got 2 papers, and then I've got the embellishments here, so I'll be using that as well. So the first thing we want to do is you get an envelope. You can have any envelope, doesn't really matter, but it's nice to have one that opens up like this. So all as I've done, I've just loosened these bits and opened it up to one big sheet. Let me take that from underneath. So it opens up like that. This doesn't quite cover to stick it all down, so what I've done, I've covered these separately, these little panels separately, because this bit is going to be covered up with the pockets anyway. So what I've done, I've just stuck them on like that. Okay, so that's what we're going to be doing. I'll get some glue like this, and what I've done, I just glue the little flap like that, and then what I do, I've just stuck that on here, there, stuck that down, and then cut it round. If you've got a smaller envelope, which I don't have, you can just stick the whole thing over the top, which is so much quicker and so much easier. So I'm just going to quickly cut these out like this. Turn that over so it doesn't make the camera go funny, because it's white. So we just go round and cut these off so they're nice and neat, like this, on this side. So you can also use, if you had like a 12 by 12 piece of paper as well, you could use that scrapbook paper. That would probably fit better. So I'm just going to stick these down the sides like that, and then we'll have, make sure you're going in the right direction as much as you can. So if that's at the bottom, try and put it so it's the right way up. Just pop that on the edge there. Squidge it down. going to sew round it as well, so don't worry about gluing right to the edge. Well, you can if you haven't got a sewing machine. You don't have to sew round it, you can just glue it on. It'll take a little more time than I'm doing. Oopsie daisy. Make sure it's stuck down properly. This one's sort of like a bit more sort of vintagey on there, which is really pretty, I think. This one's going to be vintagey, but it's going to have some nice pinks and purples in it, so that will fit on there. Oops, daisy. Stick it on the edge. You could also, if you want to do, use up your scraps. You don't have to have each little fold matching. You could use up your scrap bits of paper or digital kits that you've got and make it almost like a little patchworky one. And then we want to do the top one. Stick those down. And we'll pop that one along the top. Oops. Like so. Stick that on. Let's have the big butterfly, I think, on there. Squidge it down. Pop that to the side. We don't need that bit for now. Let's make sure this is all nice and tidy-ish. Oops, that's not a very good bit of cutting, but never mind. Okay, so that's that bit done. So these just fold in. So these go in first, like that. And it's quite nice because it's when you open it out, you see all the pretty papers inside. So that just opens up like that, which is gorgeous. Let's just stick these little bits down in the corners, which I've missed. Like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, we'll just make the little pockets in the middle. That's a bit too much glue in there. Always get so sticky. Okay, right, so that's that bit. Let me show you on here, look. So that is this piece here, so we've done all these little bits here like that. So now we're just going to make the pocket. I made that out of some graph paper. I'm just going to make it out of some tea stain paper or coffee stain paper now. So what I've done, let's just squidge that up like that. I'm going to measure this. I'm just going to eyeball it because we want it this width. Don't have it right on the edges like this, because when you fold it in, it's just going to hit this and it will just twist it. So come in a few centimeters here. So I'm just going to eyeball it, so about there. I'll make a mark with my fingernail, and then I'm going to get my cutter here, and then we can just chop that off. So let's see where the mark was. Like that. I had a tidy up of my desk and now I can't really find anything. I had to tidy up of my room. So that's the danger, isn't it? Things tend to get lost. When it's messy, I know where everything is. But you do tend to find some nice little bits where you're rummaging around and tidying up. So what we want to do, you want to make the first pocket, so we don't want it too high because we're going to put another one at the back. So we want to make it about there. So this is the bottom of the page. So let's just turn that over like that. Make sure we're sort of level. Okay, so that's that pocket, and then you fold it up like that, and then we want to bring it down, so this is like the little writing bit, so you just sort of like concertina this piece, so you go up and backwards like that. Take that out of the way. So you need to level it up with this so it's nice and neat. Go along there and then go one more back down like there, so you're level with that top one. Okay, so then that just pulls down like that, and what I'm going to do is a little bit longer, so I'm just going to cut that piece off so it's level with the bottom. So let's get our little cutter out. So we want to just mark that with my fingernail. We want to do about there. I'm trying to put all my little bits of paper as well that I cut off into the dustbin so they don't all end up on the floor. Look, I haven't done that very level, but never mind. So then that goes in, then that just pulls down. So what I need now is another piece of paper, which I can use this piece. And I want to, let's have a look, this way's fine. So I need to just mark that off there with my fingernail, but do use a pencil or something. So how wide out? So the pockets, the first pocket's there, let's have a look. Get this out. So we want to make that into the bottom pocket. So it's going to be half an inch to a quarter of an inch higher. So we want it about there. I won't give you measurements because the envelopes that you'll probably use are going to be the different size to mine. So you can use any size envelope, whether you've got the big ones. You could even do one with a window in it as well, couldn't you? You get the envelopes, but you want it, the ones with the little flaps that open out really. So we've got those two, so that's perfect. And then they just fold in, so there's lots of them there. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is just ink the edge a little bit. You find my ink. Vintage photo, surprise. Okay, so, oh, that's too dark. Let's turn it over, because we're not going to see the back, are we? This is a nice new juicy one, so that's why. That's it. Luckily we can turn it over and you won't see it. Ink all the way down through here. But use whatever ink you like. You don't have to use the dark one. Or you don't even have to ink it at all if you don't want to. Okay, so that's that done. So that just folds up like that and pops onto there. So now on the other one, I'm going to put a little bit of ribbon or lace along the top. So I'm going to use, I think, this pink one, unless that's a bit too, it might be a little bit too wide. What else have we got? I wanted to add some pinks in here because obviously we've got the pinkies and purples in there, so I think these would look really pretty. So So we could have a little bit of velvet across there, couldn't we? That would look quite nice. Oh, this one's a little bit difficult to stick down. I think I'll have the velvet. No, let's chop the end off so it's straight. Pop a little bit of the 3-in-1 glue along the top. Let's clean the top of it. Like that. Okay. Pop that. You can't really see where I've inked it, so there we go. And then we shall do the space. Put this down here. And we just stick it down. I will go over it with a sewing machine as well. There we go. Oopsie daisy. So that sits there like that, which will go inside here like that. So that looks nice, doesn't it? Shall I might put this on the bottom actually. Like that. That would look nice, wouldn't it? I can't have it hanging off the bottom because we need to close it up. Unless I go that way. Oh, maybe I'll go that way. Let's stick some of this on. And I can sew it all together then. Go. That looks nice, doesn't it? So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to go and sew along here, and along here. So I'm going to be 2 minutes. Okay, so that's all done. So what I did, I actually sewed on the back panel as well. So I've just sewed that piece on as well, and down the sides. I don't know why I've sewed down the sides, but I did. I think I thought I was just sewing it around an envelope. But there we go, it does look nice. So that's that done. So we have to pop that into there like that. So that's how that sticks in. So the last one I did actually stick in it. I didn't sew it through, I stuck it in, and then we've got the 2 pockets there. And these just go in like that, which looks nice. Perfect. So I'm going to leave that one for a minute. So that's that done. I am now going to, what did I do? Let me have a think. I think I sewed around this as well. I know what I did. I reinforced these pieces. That's what I did. So they don't, because it's just the envelope, and this is a little bit heavier, these do tend to rip. So I just reinforced those bits there. So that's what I shall do. I'm going to take my cutter like this, use the last of this paper, just make it a little bit easier to cut. So we want some thin lines across here. So what shall I do? Come do 1/2 inch. That's about 1 centimetre. Let's do that. You could use a little bit of fabric if you wanted to, or you don't have to do this bit if you don't want to, but It's quite nice just to make sure it's made properly. It's not going to rip. So we want 4 little strips. So that's probably about 1, 2, 3, 1/8 of an inch wide. Dear, I'm all croaky today. So let me put these away. So all as I did, popped it along there, and I will cut that. So I just want to pop it along each one. Let's do one at a time. Right, so take your little bit and then just fold it in half. You can make them a little bit bigger if you want to. It's entirely up to you. But just reinforce it. So just go down like that and just bend it in half as neatly as you can. Okay. I'm going to actually ink this. Just a little bit. Get the glue stick. Let's have this one. Glue this on. And just stick it on there. Make sure you've got it in the little groovy bit like that. And that just sits there perfect. Okay, let's do the other one. Let's do the bottom one. This one, I think I actually added a little bit. No, it's that one I added. So yeah, I did the seam binding, but that was on the outside. That was just to sew when we sew in the signature for the little notebook on the front. You can see I'm just folding them in half like that. Make sure it's straight-ish. A little bit of ink on there. Bit of glue. I'll probably speed this bit up for you because it's all the same really. Okay, so there we go. So that's all 4 sides done, I think, sort of. There we go. So let's just reinforce those bits so they don't break. Oops. Okay, so now I'm going to, see it's up this way, make sure I've got it up the right way. That goes in there, but what I think I might do now is just go round the edges, except for this one, because that's the one I'm going to sew the back on, if I can remember. We've got this back piece here, and that's where the piece of paper goes. So I'm going to sew round the edge, just these 3 here. Okay, so and leave this one. So that's the flap that comes up from the bottom. So just the top 3 like that. Okay, let me quickly go and do that. Okay, so I've just sewn around the 3 edges. So let me just trim this up like this. And I'm just going to ink around it so it just cover up my white stitching like that. Just edge it, stick that down, and on this side. Okay, so now we are going to stick this in, so we're ready to do that. It can go in there like that, but make sure you can fold it up so that that's in the middle like that. Perfect. So just down the sides like that. Stick that in. Whoops, easy. Perfect. Okay, so that folds up lovely, and then this folds in, and then this folds up like that. Perfect. So we'll do that one in a minute because we need to put the front of the journal on. So let me just ink around the edges a little bit. Perfect. Okay. Right, so for the journal, because that's the inside, I'll decorate that little bit in a minute. So that goes on like that. So now what we need to do, let's put these, is the front. So this is the little journal that we've attached onto here. So what I've done, I need to, okay, so we want the front cover and we want this to stick it on with. So first thing I'm going to do, put that up there, is just measure this here. Put all my bits of ribbon away. Now I'm going to cut it down probably about that far. Not quite in half. I think I might have to use my trimmer for this. Let's just trim this down. That's about, probably about almost an inch over the size of the envelope, and then you want to do it, don't look very level, does it? Got it a bit wibbly wobbly. Just inside, so it's just a little bit smaller. Okay. I think it's probably at my envelope. Right, so what we want to do, which way did I do that one? That way. Like that. So I'm going to pop that on there. So you leave just a little tiny gap there. And then we want to bend this so that goes around the back of the envelope. Like that. So it sort of like slots on to the one that we haven't sewn around. So that's the bottom one. So that just sits on there like that. Perfect. And now we need to cut this off. So I want this piece here to go on the front. So back it's going to be, get my cutter out again. Not very organised, am I? So let's just cut this little piece off here. See if we can measure that so we get butterfly wishes in. I think that should fit. Sit on the bottom so we get most of the butterflies in there. just so there's a little edge on it. And then that could sit on the front piece like that. Perfect. I'm going to just trim it tiny bit. Right, let's get rid of all these little bits and pieces. Pop the trimmer back. Right, put these in my scrap box, which I've got a huge big scrap box. Because tidying my room up, I had lots of little scrap boxes everywhere. So I popped them all into one now, so I can have a good old rummage through it. So that's going to be the front of the journal cover. So that's nice, isn't it? So what I'm going to do now, if I wanted to decorate this, I need to decorate it now if I wanted to sew it, because I sewed around these bits here, but I don't think I really need to sew onto this one unless I pop a little bit of this along the bottom like that, which would look quite nice, wouldn't it? Maybe we'll do that. Oh, I haven't used any of my purpley little rose trim for ages. Maybe I could add some of this to that. So let's stick that on there. So I'm going to stick this onto here because I didn't sew it on, but maybe I could, couldn't I? Because this one I didn't sew on. I did that two separately because I didn't want too many stitch marks on the back of it. I could actually sew around it in one, couldn't I? That's a possibility. Maybe I should do that. Well, I'm just going to quickly sew along here. Okay, so that I've just sewn along there because that's a little bit too high up to sew the backing paper on. Is it? Okay. Oops. Let's ink it a little bit. Next piece here. Side. Can do that little bit more later. So let's stick this onto here. I can stick the little rose trim. I think I'll pop a little bit of the rose trim along the bottom, but I can do that afterwards. So let's just use a little bit of glue stick just to keep it in place. Onto here. So if you had, I made some like journal toppers in one of my videos. You could always use one of those to pop on the top of here. So if you had made, if you've made some of those before, they're already made and you can just stick them on the top. So that goes this way, so that just slides on there like that. Okay, so what I'm going to do, I'm just going to sew around this edge now. Okay, that's that done. Let's cut these little bits off like that. Perfect. Ink those little bits there. Okay, so now what we need to do is pop this onto here. Oops. So we're going to stick that on like that. Just stick that to there so I know where that's going to be. Where's the glue stick? here, so it just needs to stick to here like that. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to just cut these little bits off like that, and then what I'll do, I'm going to just sew up along here. Actually, what I might do, no, it's downstairs. I've left my seam binding downstairs, so never mind, we won't use that. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to sew this bit around here, so then it all matches in with this. So there we go. Okay, lovely. So that's all sewn around there, so that's all nice and neat and tidy. Cut the little threads off like that, and then that's it. So this pulls out. Oh gosh, please don't stick to it. A little bit of glue stuck on there. There we go. So that pulls out. So that's a lovely little joining spot, and then these fold in, and that folds up, and that folds down, and then we have the front of the journal like that. So now all we have to do is pop in the pages. Okay, so I've got some tea stain paper or coffee stain paper here. Now we need to measure this and cut this. So to make a little booklet, we're going to have to go in like that. Let's just eyeball it. So roughly, don't do too big, do we? About there. I think I did it like 6. Let me have a look. Let me do a little bit of trimming. Okay. How much did I cut off? I think my other ones I did it's 3 1/4, if I'm correct. And then this way I did it 6 inches. Now let's see if I remembered right. Yes, no, it needs to be a little bit smaller, because I think this one's tiny bit smaller than that one. So this needs to be cut just a fraction smaller. So maybe I will go 6, 5 3/4 inches. Like that. Okay, so I'm going to get on and just going to cut a few of these. So I will be back in 2 minutes, because you don't need to see me cutting all this paper. Okay, so I've cut those to size. I've only got a few, not too many. So, and then I'm just going to sew those into there. So I'm going to actually sew it in with some of the wax thread. 2, 3. And my needles. Let's thread this up so this doesn't take very long to do, and I think they look nice when they're sewn in. Just finishes them off nicely. So let's find the middle. Oh, I need my little book. Let's get my little book. Pop that in there like that. Sort of in the middle. You can put as many pages in as you like. And I'm just going to add a few just to show you. Where's my little tool? So we'll pop 1 hole in the middle and 2 either side, like that. Now we'll just sew in the signature. bottom one and then up through the middle. Like that. Perfect. And just tie it in the middle. So you can use all your little odd bits of paper if you want, or your leftovers as the little journal. Cut those middle pieces off like that. There we are. Now I'm going to just pop a little bit. There's my little box here with all my bits in here. Take a little bit of this because I think that looks just so pretty with the butterflies. Oh, can you hear my pussy cat? George. I think he's probably woken up. He's been asleep in his little bed and now he's hungry. It just looks so pretty on there. So let's turn this over. Now I need to pop something onto here, I think. Let's have a look. What did I do with that? So this is the embellishment one, so that I could have. I think the middle butterfly is probably the right size. Just cut him out. Oopsie daisy. Cut these little antenna things off. Then we need to pop a little bit of, maybe a little bit of seam binding, not seam binding, some cheesecloth. I forgot what it was called then. Something I use all the time. Okay. Let's just, oops, add a little bit of ink to the edges, like that. Put this down with a little bit of glue stick so we can squidge it about, and then we'll take the 3-in-1 to pop the little butterfly on, like that. On the outside. So that looks really pretty, doesn't it? So I think that looks lovely. I think we could probably have maybe a little bit of the rose trim just on here, just to finish it off so it blends in with the front. Well, it blends in, but it works well. There we go. Oops. I can just stick on there. 5 little rosebuds. Right, now let's wait for that to dry a minute because I need to find something to. Okay, so this is what I've used. If you've got the blue butterfly kit, what I did, these are the little postcards that come with it, and I've actually printed all the postcards on one sheet. So we've got 8 postcards and they make them a lot smaller. So what I would do, I would sew all around these. I printed them on 120-gram paper, and then I backed them with a little bit of card, and then these would just slot in there. So I would just sew around the outsides and then ink them, and then they just pop into both pockets. So you've got a pocket at the back and a pocket at the front, like that. So then you've got lots and lots of journaling room. So if you know somebody, this is a lovely gift. If you know somebody that likes to do lots of journaling, then this is ideal. What I'm going to do actually is take one of these little flowers and the butterfly. And I'm going to, will it fit on there? Yes, I think so. So we'll just give this a quick little fussy cut just to finish it off. Just to finish the inside off nicely. Like that. Do we need the butterfly? No, I'll just use the flower. Just ink around the edges. Again, let's have a little bit of this. I think this just finishes it off lovely. I need to, this I'm using just as it comes, so it's a really natural colour. Sometimes they bleach it, but this one they haven't. So it's really, really nice, but it's quite a hard one. So I think I might actually colour a little bit of it, because it would look quite nice if I sort of like coloured it a little bit lilac or something to go with these. So I'm not just using the plain colour, I'll use something a little bit different. So I'm going to stick that down there. A little bit of glue on here. That in there, so that looks pretty. Oh, sorry, I hope I'm in shot. I'm all over the place today. There we go. So that folds up like that. These fold in, and that folds up, and that folds down. And then what I need to do is get a little bit of ribbon or something to tie it all together. Let's have a look. We could even use some of this. That would look pretty, wouldn't it? Could use this to tie it with. We have a nice big piece of velvet to hold it on, like that. So there we are. So we've got another little booklet. I'm not quite sure what to call it, like I said, but I think it's really, really pretty. So we've got two here now, and I think they're really lovely. So this one I'll show you again. So that's what it looks like from the outside. So we take the bow off, undo it like that, and then we've got the lovely little journal here, just to journal in a few pages, and then we turn it over and you've got a lovely little sort of compartment at the back with lots of journaling space. You could even put some, decorate this if you didn't want it as journaling, and just open it out. And then we've got the lovely little journaling pockets, little cards in here. So I will sew around these and make them look pretty, and they just pop in there lovely. Okay guys, well I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. I hope you give it a go. I hope you're all well and crafting along. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye bye.